What's up, everybody? Michael Walsh here. So just a quick video today about Kyoji Horiguchi and my complete confusion as to what the UFC is doing with him, because he is fighting in the co-main event this weekend and he should be waiting for a title shot. I don't think he should be fighting anyone. He should just be next in line, or maybe next in line after Pantoja gets a rematch. But in any case, his next fight should not be against some other dude. It should be for the title. Okay, and to give you some context, because Kyoji's been around a while and a lot of people might not know his career because it happened years ago in the UFC and then largely outside of the UFC, but Kyoji Horiguchi is a legend in the flyweight and bantamweight divisions, okay? He fought Demetrius Johnson for the belt when Johnson was champion. He was quite young. You know, he was 15-1, I believe, going into it, so he wasn't totally green, but he was pre-prime, I would say. He's probably the only person Johnson fought during his entire title reign who wasn't in their prime when he fought them. You know, it's sort of like when Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo Alvarez when Canelo was like 22 or something. Similar deal. So Johnson wins. He actually sets the record for latest finish in a fight, in a UFC fight, or maybe just a title fight. But I think in UFC fights, period, because it was a 5-round fight, and with 1 second left, he gets Kyoji in the armbar. Very cool finish. That's all well and good. Kyoji goes on in the UFC to beat other contenders. Like, he beats Bagutinov, who also fought Johnson for the belt, and beat guys like John Lineker. So he leaves the UFC on a win streak. Like, I think he voluntarily left. I think his contract expired and he got a better deal elsewhere. He goes on to fight in Rizin and in Bellator. And he puts together great win streaks. He wins belts in both organizations. Yes, he has a couple losses, like he trades wins with Sergio Pettis and with Ezekura, where in both cases he loses the first time due to I don't want to say random or lucky, but against avoidable knockouts and difficult to replicate knockouts. And then he beats both of them in the rematch. And yes, he lost to Patchy Mix, but that was up at bantamweight, and that was 8 fights ago for Kyoji Horiguchi. He's on just a big win streak ever since. You know, he is very legit. He has a very unique style. He is this karate boxer hybrid, and he's got great wrestling and ground and pound. That's very rare to see. He's just an exceptional athlete. I've heard the quote attributed to, I believe it's Mike Brown, the coach at American Top Team. He was apparently asked who's the greatest athlete he's worked with, or who's the greatest athlete of the stable of fighters at that gym. And he said, without question, it is Kyoji Horiguchi. So that's who this guy is. And yes, I understand that the UFC might be reluctant to immediately give someone like him a title shot upon his return, because just look at what happened when they gave Kai Asakura an immediate title shot against Pantoja. Fair enough. However, Kyoji already had his return fight, and it was against a ranked dude, and he finished him, and he got performance of the night. So, what are we doing here? He's getting up there in age, so we only have so much time for him to fight for the belt. And I would think the UFC acquired him for a reason. I would think the prospect of having the first ever Japanese UFC champion would be a thing they'd be interested in. And I know Taira's in the mix too, and possibly more deserving of a title shot, but you would think the idea of a potential Japanese versus Japanese fighter for a title shot in a UFC event would be wonderful for them. You'd think if they were to have any hope of meaningfully cracking into that market more than they already have, that would be the sort of thing they would want. So I just don't know why this isn't happening. And if you wanted that to happen, it would make sense to give Kyoji the shot before you gave Taira the shot, because Kyoji's going to age out. I mean, he's not going to be around forever. You know, if he can take out Van, or Pantoja, and then, Taira fights him, that's all the better. Maybe they think maybe there's behind the scenes stuff. Maybe they know Pantoja won't be back for a while, and they think that Taira has a better chance of beating Van, and they want him to win, so then Kyoji can fight him. Maybe at the same time, maybe they, even though he's exciting, maybe they don't want a grappler to win. But if that were true, then it would still just make sense to give Kyoji the shot. So this whole thing is weird. I just don't get why you'd acquire this guy at this age and then make him fight 2 random dudes I mean, not random, but ranked dudes, but like to have him fight two random dudes and sort of tread water in the rankings and not get his shot. I just don't get it. And it's annoying because, as a Kyoji fan, I feel like this is a waste. I feel like, we could be seeing him fight for a title. We could be seeing him win a title. We could be seeing him defend a title, and that would all be awesome. But instead, he's getting this like Jacare Souza treatment, where it's like, well, let's just have you fight guys, and hopefully you don't lose at any point, while you just sit in the background waiting for this title shot that might never come. Like, to me, that's lame. So I just wanted to make a quick video about that. Tune in this weekend because that is the co-main event. He is fighting, and that is fantastic. He was on the prelims of his return bout, which was another like eye-rolling WTF kind of thing, where it's like, why get this guy and then just bury him on the prelims? Like, why must the UFC do that, especially in the flyweight division? Why? But in any case, I just wanted to get that little rant out there.